All right, part 3 of the percent review. Let's finish this out. Number 24. What percent of 146 is 39? So I'm looking for the percent. That's what I'm looking for. So I could do my percent over 100 equals. The is 39. Of is 146. The 39 is the part. The 146 is the whole. And I want to know what percentage 39 is out of the 146. So I'm really doing 3,900 divided by 146. Or I could do 39 divided by 146 and then just change it. It's up to you, however you want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and do 3,900 on this one. Divide it by 146. 146 into 390, I think it's going to go twice. Let me do some work up here. 146 times 2 is 292. I don't think, no, it's not going to go another time. So that's going to go twice, and that's 292. So 146 into 980. I'm going to try, let's see, let's try 6. 146 times 6. 24, 27, 876. Yeah, it's not going to, I can't go any farther than that. So 26, 876. I'm going to continue that up here. 876. That's 40104. And I'm going to add a 0. So 146 into 1040. Oh, is going to be, let's see if that is that. I wonder if it's going to be 7. Let's look at 7. 832, 1022. Yep, just enough. So 1022, subtract that, and then 146 into 180 is going to go 1 time. Now at this point, well, it says to the nearest hundredth, so I'm going to have to keep going one more time. I'm just going to keep going. I know it's tedious, but you can do it. 146 into 340. This is the last one I have to do. That's going to be twice. So let's see, where am I? 0.26712, and it says I have to round to the nearest hundredth, and the reason why I went out is because when I change it to a percent, 2 to the right, it's going to be 26.7, and that 2 is not going to change that 1, so it's going to be 71%. Alright, so make sure you round the way you're supposed to. Yeah, it's a little tedious, but it's some division. It never killed anybody, at least that I know about. All right, number 25. 45 is 26% of what number? So this sounds like a proportion problem, and it looks like I'm looking for the of. So make sure you know what you're looking for. So 45 is 26% of something. So 45 is 1/4 of something. So it's going to be a 120, 130 in my estimation. So let's use our common sense. So it's going to be 26 over 100, and 45 is your part of the whole, my total. So it's going to be 4,500 divided by 26. So 4,500 divided by 26. It's going to be 26 into 45. Can go 1 time. And that's going to be 9 and 1. So now it's 26 into 190. And that's going to go 6, 7, 8. Maybe, I think 8 is going to be a little bit too much. So I'm going to put a 7 there. 26 times 7. 14,182. That's going to be 80. And then 26. Let's see, where am I? 26 into 80 is going to be, I'm actually going to pull out my calculator here because I'm kind of made a mess here. All right, my answer is going to be 173.0769. It says round to the nearest hundredth. So your answer should be, after all the division, I just don't have the room down here, it's going to be 173.08 rounded to the nearest hundredth because it's 0.076. That 6 is going to change the 7. So that's the answer. You should come up with that. Just look for some white space to work out this division. It'd be fine. I just don't want to cover up any more questions. All right, number 26. Jenny bought scrapbooking supplies for $70.75. She paid $5.66 in sales tax. What was the sales tax rate? Usually when they're asking for the rate, they're asking for the percent. So what I have is the is, and I have the of. I'm looking for the percent that $5.66 is of the 70.75. So go ahead and write that in your proportion. Percent over 100. So you would do 5.66 times 100. I just have to move to the right, 2 to the right. So that's 566. And then divide by 70.75. That gives you 8 exactly. So that percentage is going to be 8%. All right, 27 is a percent of change. This was the amount of the change over the original amount. Please make sure you know how to do that. Amount of the change. It went from 40 to 83. So the amount of the change is 43. The original amount was 40. So this was more than a 100% increase. If it's a 100% increase, that means it doubles. And double would have been 80. So since it's at 83, it makes sense that it's more than 100%. So at this point, we're going to do top in, bottom out. That goes one time. Then we're going to set our decimal. 40 into 30. It's not going to be there, so we're going to have to go 40 into 300. That's 7. That's 280. That gives us 20. 40 into 200 is 5, so 1.075. Move that 2 to the right, and we have 107.5% increase. It's a little more than 100%. Makes sense. All right, number 28. The price of a train ticket from Orlando to Atlanta is normally $118. However, the train company is offering a special 75% discount. That's a lot to children under the age of 16. So what's the sales price of a ticket for someone under the age of 16? So we need to find out what 75% is of 118, and that would be my discount. So I can take 75% of 118. I can do 118 times 0.75. That's the discount, though. That's not how much they're going to pay. But I'm actually going to show you a little trick here. Now, I could do that, but then I would have to subtract it from the total. But if they're going to get 75% off, how much does that leave them paying? It leaves them paying 25%, and if I find that, then that's how much they're going to pay. So if I find 25% of 118, I'll get my answer in one step instead of two. So I'm going to do 118 times 0.25. And I'm going to move it twice to the left, $29.50, and that's in dollars. That's how much they're going to pay. Or I could have done the other way around. I could have done 75% of 118, but that would have just been the discount that I subtract from the 118 to get the price that they're going to pay. A couple of ways I could have done that. All right. Excuse me. Number 29. Roberto farms a tract of land that typically yields 69.6 kilograms of peas. A fertilizer manufacturer claims that its fertilizer will produce 60% increase in yield. What total amount of peas should he expect from this tract of land if he applies that fertilizer? So I'm looking for 60% increase of the 69.6. adding that to the 69.6. So first, find out what 69.6 times 0.6 is. That's the decimal equivalent of 60. Got two decimal places there. Oops, 2. Sorry. 1, 2. So 41.76 is the increase. I'm going to add that to the 69.6. Now when I'm adding decimals, you make sure you line them up. So we can expect 111.36 kilograms of peas with that increase. That sounds pretty good. All right, number 30, last one. Mr. Rodriguez sells holiday greeting cards in his gift shop. Before the holidays, he sells the cards at a 200% markup. Now, we talked a little bit about this with our percent, our commission problems and our royalties, how people make money. Well, they're going to buy it cheap and then sell it for higher, and that's how they're going to make money. And this guy, he sells the Christmas cards at 200% markup, but after the holidays, they always have them for sale, and he discounts the cards 55%. So it says, what's the post-holiday price of the two cards he bought from his supplier for $1.25 and $2.50? So we have two different cards here. Let's just call them card A and card B. The first card he bought for $1.25, but we're going to multiply it with that 200% markup for before the holidays and then after the holidays. So before the holidays, he's doing a 200% markup when he bought it for $1.25. That means he's going to sell before Christmas for $2.50. And the reason why I got that was because 200% means 2 times. So we take that $1.25 and multiply it by 2. So he's selling it for not 100% of it, but 200% of it. So we're going to multiply it by 2. So the first card he's going to sell for $2.50. And then the second card he bought for $2.50, so we're going to double that. He's selling them for $5. But then after the holidays, he's going to discount these cards 55%. So then I'm going to take 55% off of this. So $2.50. Actually, it says, what's the holiday price? So if he's discounting 55%, what is he going to charge? What percentage? 45%. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do 55%. I'm going to find out how much they're going to pay, and that's going to be my answer to this question. So if he's discounting 55%, he's charging the 45% of it. So let's find out what that total is. And let's not forget, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's going to charge $1.13 for this first card after the holidays. Actually, scratch that. Scratch it, scratch it, scratch it, scratch. 200% markup means an increase. So he's not going to double the price. He's actually going to add $2.50 to the $1.25. Yeah, because he doesn't want to lose money. So scratch that. Let's scratch this. Sorry about that. But see, teachers make mistakes sometimes too. But I looked at my answer and I thought, why would he be selling it for less? But, I mean, it's possible because they may have made so much money before the holidays. So anyway, I'm not going to sell it for $2.50. He's going to add the $2.50 markup to the $1.25 that he paid for it. So he's going to actually sell for $3.75. So the markup's $2.50. Add that to the $1.25. So he's selling it for $3.75. Same thing here. He's going to add the $5 to the $2.50, and he's going to be selling those cards for $7.50. So now I'm going to find 45% of these two prices. So $3.75 times 45. For the sake of time, I'm just going to do that on my calculator here. You get 1.6875. So he's going to sell it, we're talking about dollars and cents here, for $1.69. and that's for the first card. And then the second card, we're going to do $7.50, and we're going to only charge 45% of it. So 7.5 times 0.45, 3.375, and this 5 rounds the 7 up, so $3.38. That's my new cost after the holidays. So he's still making money on both of those cards. So study this review, come in prepared for the test. Make sure you know everything going on here. Make sure you're familiar with all of these problems here, and just come in. This is a lot of work, but don't be afraid to do it. And if you know the big picture of percents, it shouldn't be too hard. So go ahead and study this over the weekend. Come on Monday ready to test your knowledge on percents, and hopefully you'll be ready.